This is a story called The Little Monsters at Christmas. Chapter 34. The kids go carol singing and go around giving some of their money to the homeless. The kids are all at Kicker's house playing, but then they decide to go carol singing. When they got there, they sang for about an hour and then they went to McDonald's for lunch. On the way there, they saw a couple of homeless people. They see a couple of homeless people and give them some money so they can get something to eat and drink. After lunch they went and did a bit more carol singing, but it started raining heavily, so they went and did some Christmas shopping. However, on their way to the shops they saw some more homeless people and gave them some money so that they could eat. After they'd been browsing round the shops for about an hour, the rain had stopped, so they went and did some more carol singing. They sang for about half an hour, but then it started raining again, so they decided to go home. On their way to the bus stop, they spotted some more homeless people and gave them some money. When they got off the bus, they went to their local shopping centre, had some tea, did some more Christmas shopping, and then they went back to Kicker's house for a sleepover. The following day they went carol singing in town again. They sang for about 2 hours and then they went to McDonald's for lunch again. On their way there they saw an homeless couple with 2 young kids aged about 3 and 5 years old. They each gave them £5 out of their carol singing money. It turned out that they were actors and they were making a documentary about homeless families. They went after the kids and gave them their money back and £50 each. The kids thanked them and then they went for their lunch. As they approached McDonald's, they saw the man that they'd seen the day before and they each gave him £5. Then they went back to do some more carol singing for about 2 hours and then they went and did some more Christmas shopping. When they'd finished shopping, they went to Creeper's house for their tea and a sleepover. After tea, they went outside and played on Creeper's trampoline for a bit. Then Creeper had an idea. "I have an idea, guys. We could give half of our money that we get from carol singing to the homeless. I know some homeless people are alcoholics and drug addicts, but they still have a right to eat and they need to eat." "Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Speaking of food, I'm hungry again," said Stumpy. Everyone cracked out laughing and then together they said, "You're always hungry, Stumpy." The next day they went into town again and then they took some extra money with them to give out to the homeless once they'd finished singing. When they did so, everyone was very grateful. They decided that they were going to do this every time they went carol singing in town. That night was Stumpy's turn to have a sleepover, so they all went straight there as they got back from town. The next day, when they went into town, the first thing they did was go around giving some of their money to the homeless. Then they did some carol singing for about 1.5 hours. When they'd finished singing, they gave some more money to the homeless, and then they found a cafe and had some lunch. After lunch, they did some more carol singing, but it started snowing, so they went back to Bumpy's for tea and a sleepover. The next day they didn't go anywhere because it was still snowing, so they just stayed at Bumpy's house and played all day. Then they went to Stumpy's house for a sleepover. The following day they decided to stay close to home because it was snowing again. They went to their local shopping centre and did some more carol singing there for a bit, and then they went house to house singing. That night they stayed at Stumpy's and had their tea there. When they got up the next day, the snow had stopped and they went into town carol singing again. This time though they went further into town and stayed there singing for over an hour, and then they went to find a cafe for lunch. Once they'd had their lunch, they went and did some more singing, but it started to snow again. They decided to go back to Grumpy's as it was his turn to have a sleepover. On their way to the bus stop, they gave money to as many homeless people as they could. When they got to Grumpy's house, they played in his playroom for a couple of hours, and then they had their tea. After their tea, the snow had stopped, so they went from door to door carol singing. They stayed out for a couple of hours and then they went back to Grumpy's house. When they got there, they counted their money, and between them, they had £300 altogether. They split between them, giving them £50 each. They also had the rest of the money they'd earned, which they'd already divided between them. However, their parents had told them not to walk around with loads of money on them, because it wasn't safe. Instead, they took a little bit out with them each day. When they went back into town the next day, it was snowing a bit, so they just went round giving money to the homeless, and then they went shopping. When they'd finished shopping, they went back to Creeper's for tea and a sleepover. The following day it had stopped snowing, so the kids went into town again. By the time they got there, it was past lunchtime and they were all hungry. They went into Burger King and had some lunch, but when they'd finished, it was snowing again. They were given permission to sing in their shopping centre, and afterwards they did some shopping. When they'd done their shopping, they went round the homeless, giving them money and food and drink. This time they were spotted by a journalist who worked for the Sun newspaper, and the next day they were in the newspaper. Not just one, but all of them, and they were also on the news. They couldn't believe it. They didn't think anything of what they were doing, because as far as they were concerned, they were only helping the poor and needy, and those who were a lot worse off than they were. End of chapter 34. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you like it. Bye.